Are we close to a global water crisis? Water covers 70% of our planet, so it's easy to assume we have plenty. But only 3% of that water is freshwater, and less than 1% is accessible for human use. As demand rises and supply shrinks, the world faces a growing water scarcity crisis. From megacities to rural villages, water shortages are becoming a painful reality. Droughts are lasting longer, aquifers are being drained, and once reliable rivers are drying up. The threat is no longer distant or theoretical, it's already here. Climate change accelerates the problem. Warmer temperatures lead to faster evaporation, reduced snowpack, and shifting rainfall patterns. This impacts agriculture, energy production, ecosystems, and human health. Urbanization and population growth also add pressure. More people means more consumption, especially in areas already struggling with limited infrastructure and outdated water management systems. We'll explore the regions most at risk, the causes behind the crisis, and the bold actions that can still turn the tide, because when water runs out, everything else follows. Where is water scarcity hitting the hardest and why? Some of the most water-stressed countries are also the most densely populated. India, Pakistan, Egypt, Iran, and parts of the Middle East top the list, with each facing a dangerous combination of demand, pollution, and mismanagement. Africa is also heavily affected, with countries like Ethiopia, Kenya, and South Africa experiencing cyclical droughts. In Cape Town, the infamous Day Zero nearly shut off municipal taps entirely. Even wealthier nations aren't immune. The American West faces historic droughts, while Southern Europe experiences desertification. Urban centers like Los Angeles, Sao Paulo, and Beijing are now water-stressed megacities. These regions suffer from a mix of natural factors like low rainfall, arid climates, and human-made challenges such as poor infrastructure, inefficient irrigation, and political conflicts over shared water sources. The crisis isn't limited to faraway places. If current trends continue, water scarcity could affect up to 5 billion people globally by 2050, creating new geopolitical flashpoints and mass migrations. Could future wars be fought over water instead of oil? As water becomes less available, tensions between nations and communities are rising. Rivers and aquifers don't respect borders, and disputes over access are already turning into flashpoints. The Nile River Basin, which is shared by 11 countries, has seen diplomatic clashes over Ethiopia's construction of the Grand Renaissance Dam. Egypt fears reduced water flow, while Ethiopia views it as essential for development. India and Pakistan's rivalry over the Indus River continues to simmer, fueled by mistrust and decades of unresolved water-sharing agreements. In Central Asia, upstream nations control water flow that downstream countries desperately depend on. Even within countries, water rights cause strife. In the United States, farmers, cities, and Native American tribes are battling over allocation of dwindling water from the Colorado River. As climate change worsens supply and population growth intensifies demand, water scarcity will become one of the defining security threats of the 21st century unless cooperation somehow replaces conflict. What role does global warming play in water scarcity? Climate change acts like a force multiplier in the water crisis. It doesn't just reduce availability, it disrupts predictability. This means water systems built around reliable rainfall or snowpack are increasingly out of sync with nature. In many regions, rain is arriving less frequently but more violently. This is leading to floods instead of simply replenishing the groundwater. Snow that once melted gradually over months now disappears early, creating longer dry seasons. Melting glaciers, particularly in the Himalayas and Andes, are reducing the water supply for millions. These water towers are vanishing before our eyes, impacting both rural farmers and urban reservoirs alike. Meanwhile, higher temperatures increase evaporation from lakes, rivers, and soil, drying out agricultural lands and depleting water supplies faster than they can be replenished. The climate-water connection is now undeniable. To address water scarcity, any solution must also confront the causes and consequences of a warming planet. If Earth has so much salt water, why don't we just convert it? Desalination, the process of removing salt from seawater, is a tempting solution. And in water-stressed regions like the Middle East and California, it already provides drinking water to millions. But it's not a universal fix. First, it's immensely expensive. Building and running desalination plants requires massive energy input, making it cost-prohibitive for many countries, especially those already struggling with economic hardship. Second, the brine waste left behind can harm marine ecosystems. When not properly diluted or managed, this highly saline discharge disrupts coastal habitats and local biodiversity. Third, desalination doesn't address water waste. It's a treatment solution, not a conservation one. If we don't fix how we use water, producing more won't be enough. Despite these challenges, advances in technology are making desalination more efficient, but for now, it should be seen as a part of the solution, not the solution. What daily habits are silently draining our most precious resource? Most people have no idea how much water it takes to support their lifestyle. A single hamburger, for instance, requires over 600 gallons of water to produce, mainly for growing feed and processing meat. Agriculture consumes roughly 70% of all fresh water globally, and much of it is wasted through inefficient irrigation, overwatering, and evaporation. Urban use, though smaller, still contributes via leaks, outdated plumbing, and careless consumption. The fashion industry is another major culprit. It takes about 2,700 liters of water to make one cotton t-shirt. Fast fashion not only creates textile waste, but also drains water supplies and pollutes rivers with dyes. Even electricity usage has a water footprint. Cooling systems in power plants require enormous volumes of water, meaning the more energy we consume, the more water we indirectly use. Changing individual habits, like using low-flow fixtures, eating less meat, or fixing leaks, may seem small, but when done collectively, they have enormous impact. Are technology and education keeping pace with the crisis? Innovation is racing to catch up with the water crisis. Smart irrigation systems, leak detection tech, water reuse plants, and atmospheric water generators are just a few promising developments. Israel, for example, has become a global leader in water tech. It recycles nearly 90% of its wastewater for agricultural use. Singapore uses a 4-tap strategy combining imported water, rainwater harvesting, desalination, and reuse. But technology alone won't solve the problem. Public education is just as critical. Most people don't realize how their choices affect water availability until it's too late. Schools, governments, and media must do a better job of integrating water literacy into everyday life. Water conservation shouldn't be a niche topic, it should be common knowledge. When technology and education work together, we can shift culture. We will stop seeing water as infinite and start treating it as the precious shared resource it truly is. Is there still hope to reverse the water crisis, or is it already too late? The global water crisis is real, urgent, and complex, but it's not hopeless. Around the world, individuals, communities, and nations are rising to meet the challenge with creativity, commitment, and collaboration. From rethinking agriculture to enforcing fairer water policies, the solutions are already out there. They just need the will, funding, and education to scale them. That includes changing how we eat, dress, vote, and use water daily. The truth is, we're all downstream from someone else. Water doesn't belong to one country or one generation. It flows through us all, binding our future to how we manage it today. The choice is ours. Will we wait until taps run dry, or act while we still have the power to prevent disaster? Water is life, and right now, the world is being called to protect it before it's too late. Which water issue worries you the most, or what solution gives you the most hope? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell for more. Together, we can raise awareness and drive change before it's too late. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.